3-0, but at what cost? We are here. Welcome back to the Coach's Huddle with a few meets family. It's your boy, the coach, and we are back with another weekly installment of the Neutral Zone with my boy, Chunda Boy. What's good, baby? How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. It's a great day to be a 49er fan, but it's also kind of sucks a little bit with everything that's going on in the injuries.
3-0, ho.
Gotta be happy.
You gotta love it, man. Look, being 3-0, we got the Jags in week 4. Lost Nick Bosa. Let's not bury the lead. So 3-0 came at a cost, man. We lost one of our top dogs. But we're here to talk about it, man. So let's get into it. Nick Bosa goes down with ACL injury. He's done for the year, as well as Ricky Pearsall has a knee issue that has kept him out of the recent days of practice and has yet to have any participation this week going into week 4 matchup against the Jags. How does this affect us first? There's two sides of this with Nick Bosa. There's Nick Bosa, the teammate, the leader, right? And then there's also his effect with the organization, right? Nick Bosa, the independent contractor, right? His relationship with the Niners, right? So we're here to cover all of that. First things first, let's just talk about what we're going to lose with Nick Bosa, the player, and what do you think about the contingency plans to bounce back and move forward? So talk to me.
Well, I mean, obviously some guys are going to have to step up. Kyle Williams has been tremendous so far this season. Most of his impact has been felt in the run game, not just in making plays and tackles for loss, but also just absolutely you cannot run his direction. Right. He absolutely captures the edge. Mm-hmm. His ability to rush from the inside has been very, very effective. So when teams have a rush plan, they want somebody to win at 3 yards, somebody to win at 5 yards, and somebody to win at 7 yards. We have Huff to win at 7, and we have the interior guys with Williams and Yetur Gross-Matos, who has another knee injury, and guys like that to win at 3 yards, but we just lost the guy that wins at 5. So somebody's going to have to come in, whether that's Sam O, whether it's one of these other guys is going to have to win at 5 yards for our pass rush game to be effective.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. One of the biggest things right now is that the Niners, we've lost the caliber of player that Nick Bosa is. There's been a lot of names that have been thrown around. Jaden Phillips out of Miami, Nick Chubb, Bradley Chubb, rather. Then there's been talks about Kayvon Thibodeaux out of New York. Let's just get to it before we even start talking about names. Number one, do you think the Niners need to go out and go shopping, or do we have the replacement for Nick Bosa in-house?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. I do think that somebody like Sam O can fill in. You're going to lose a certain level of consistency, but if he can win at the right times, our defense can still be really effective. Mm-hmm. The names that are on the open market, a lot of the names that are being brought up are guys that win at 7 yards, not 5, and we need more of that power rusher 5-yard winner. So somebody like Thibodeaux, but I'm just really I was not impressed with him at Miami either. I never understood the hype around him. So I don't know that there is a guy that we can bring in that would be worth what we have to give up to get him. So I think we have to figure it out with what we've got on the roster and maybe bring in some depth. But I wonder if they're going to ask Kyle Williams to be that guy to win at 5 yards and power rush and bull rush a left tackle. I do think he's capable of doing that. So I'm really interested to see if Robert Saleh asks him to do that.
My biggest thing right now is that I just look at it from a completely different perspective. Not only do I think we don't need to get anybody, but I think we need to understand exactly what the main goal of this season was. That's to develop another class of rookies, right? To gain back our depth. And we're almost about to pull it off. All right. Another thing that we asked them to do is purge the cap. All right. Get rid of a lot of bloviated contracts that didn't need to be here, that were hurting us in order for us to go get guys. Also, we understand that they need at least one more full draft to supplant the 3 first-round picks that we gave up to get Trey Lance. That's a real thing.
Yes.
Right? So Nick Bosa going down, for me, only highlights even more why we should stick to the game plan. We're not a player away from being anything. We're not. We're not a player away. We're not a Kevon Thibodeau away from being a playoff team, right? We're not a Bradley Chubb away from being a playoff team. So, in my opinion, why would we go get a guy to take snaps away from people that are supposed to be being developed anyway? Use the season to get these guys ready.
I totally agree. The only thing that, as far as the cap stuff goes, the 49ers are going to be in really good cap space next year as well. And the Nick Bosa injury, there's an injury clause in his contract that actually saves us $7 million off the cap next year. So it does help us in that way, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. I agree with you entirely, though. Let's develop the young guys. I think that if we're a playoff team, we're a playoff team with the guys we have on the field. I don't think one player is going to take us from a playoff team to a championship caliber roster. And if that's not what that trade does, then I don't think there's a reason to do it.
Well, talk to me, man. What do you think we do to back this up, to kind of fill the void? One thing that I will say is that it was awesome having Nick Bosa there to be a closer, right? Also to be able to have a little bit of offensive imbalance, right? Having double teams on that edge, Nick Bosa can take on all of that brunt. We're going to see a lot of offenses kind of playing us not scared, right? They're not going to be doubling up on the edges. There is no Nick Bosa to account for on the edge. How do you see Robert Saleh putting in a contingency plan as a response to a Nick Bosa-less front?
Probably more blitz packages, and I think we may see them start to do some run blitz packages as well. One of the things that gets overlooked with Nick Bosa is that he's one of the best edge defenders against the run in the NFL. So you're not just losing an effective pass rusher and a closer. That's bad enough. You're also losing one of the best edge setters in the NFL. So we have to fix both, and it's probably going to take more than one guy to do it. So we're going to have to do this by committee. Now, do we have a guy on the team who can set the edge? That's the only thing I can think of that they might go trade for, is a guy who can set the edge on early downs. But I don't think that we need to do that either. I do think that we have the guys on the roster. It's going to be by rotation, but I can see Saleh definitely dialing up more pressure, more exotic looks, and also some run blitzes, which we haven't done a ton of at this point this year.
Man, so, I mean, I agree with that, man. Let's kind of get into the next slate of everything right now. Ricky Pearsall, man. All right, we're talking about the number 5 rated PFF receiver in the NFL, the 3rd rated leading receiver in the NFL. If you want to talk about finally making good on your investment, reaping what we have sown, Ricky Pearsall has turned on. I've been thoroughly impressed with what he's done thus far. He's gotten better. He's not the same athlete he was in college. Ergo, he stacks better. He's faster, a little bit more aggressive. Doesn't wait to catch the ball, high points the ball and snatches it out of the sky. I mean, Ricky Pearsall is somebody that's becoming instant offense and a very favorite target to anybody that we have at quarterback. But right now, he just recently came out with an injury, a knee injury that in interviews, he said he didn't necessarily understand or indicate on when he got injured during the game. He had no idea, but it just started flaring up on him, giving him a little bit of discomfort after the game. One thing led to another, yada, yada, yada. Que sera, sera. And now all of a sudden, he's out for multiple days in practice. Number one, are you concerned? Number two, will he play?
There's some concern, obviously, when an injury like that pops up. But the fact that he was able to play through the game and just, it's just kind of banged up. I think that he'll definitely play, and I think they're probably being a little bit safe with keeping him out a couple of days of practice just to give him the time to heal. Because if he practices early in the week and he flares it up worse and can't go Sunday, they have nothing but DeMarcus Robinson and Juwan Jennings. I think they're just playing it a little bit safe with keeping him out early in the week from practice. I think that if he practices Thursday and Friday, he'll definitely play, even if he practices limited.
I'm erring on the side of sitting him. One thing that we have to pay attention to is, one, we got to have guys for the entire season, right? It's no point in Brandon Ayuk coming back to a battered wide receiver room, right? These boys need to be clicking. Two, Ricky Pearsall has shown himself to actually be one of the best deep threats that we have. All right. And losing him right now is a problem, because the reason why I say that he's one of the best deep threats we have is because we all know that in order to be a receiver and get on the field on this offense is that you got to gain the trust of Kyle Shanahan. That's something not to be taken lightly. And you can lose it by way of playing through things with injury and making mistakes and then completely going in Kyle's doghouse. So that's two. Also, don't look now, but DeMarcus Robinson is coming back off of 3-game suspension. And that's another guy that's going to be looking to get a lot of targets. For me, he's a little bit of a 2.0 off of what Juwan Jennings gives us, but a little bit more athletic, a little bit more savvy, faster. And that's somebody who was getting a lot of fanfare and good reviews, it's particularly in camp. Was the most consistent by way of Grant. Definitely somebody who was reporting on that. And I just think, why press it, right? If he needs a shot to play, or if he needs any type of medical assistance to play, then this is something that I just got finished talking about on the 4-man front, which is managing injuries, but on a different plateau. Managing an injury after you take a shot. Let's say he takes a shot and he plays. All right. He's going to play hard on it, and then the adrenaline on what he has is going to wear off. All right, by Wednesday. The shots are all going to be done by halftime. All right, and then he's going to be in more pain than he was before he started playing. And then we're managing an injury at a much lower rate than what we could be managing with just a little bit of rest, right? So what would you rather do? Sit Ricky for a week, give him 2 weeks off, and then not don't think now, but another reason why I would want to sit him right now is because we got a quick turnaround. The Rams is Thursday night.
Fresh for the Rams, yeah.
Yeah, so I would err on the side of not playing him.
So with DeMarcus Robinson coming back, first of all, if anybody does any sort of betting, just take the over on everything for DeMarcus Robinson, because he's going to get more targets and yards than what they think he's going to take. I think he's going to be a big part of the game plan. I agree with you. He was all the reports I saw, obviously watching Grant and watching some of the other guys. Larry is another one that said that the most consistent wide receiver was DeMarcus Robinson. Mm-hmm. So I think that, but with him being out for 3 weeks, is there going to be some rust he has to knock off first, and so on and so forth? So I think if he can go, you play him, as long as he can go without making the injury worse. But you're right. If he has to take a shot and it's going to actually make it worse, and
say it ain't so. My man just got caught up in the Matrix.
Am I in the Matrix or you?
No, you're back. You're back. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought I lost you there for a second. So yeah, I definitely think it's one of those situations where if the injury is going to get worse by him playing, you sit him. But if he can play, if it's just a pain management thing and the injury is not going to get worse by him playing on it, we don't know what the injury is. Then I think you do play him.
Great.
You make a great point with the short turnaround, though. One thing I would point out with Ricky Pearsall, quick little stat for you. I'm curious what
Go
your
ahead.
thoughts are on this. The 49ers are one of the worst teams in the NFL for separation this year. The only teams that are worse than the 49ers at separating this year are New England and New Orleans. Where do you think Ricky Pearsall ranks amongst the, I think it's 86, 88 players or so that are on the list? Where do you think he ranks as far as separation rate?
Middle of the, I'd say bottom of the top 10.
Third from the bottom. He's the third worst receiver in the NFL at separation.
Jesus.
He's the third lowest separation number in the NFL. The only player in the 49ers have that are in the, I think he's 18th or something, is Jake Tonjes.
That's a nobody else racist.
Nobody else is even in. Nobody else is even in the top. No, I'm not. Nobody else is even in the top 30. Nobody else is even in the top 30.
It's white on white crime right there, man. That's kind of wild. I'm over here talking to my man. My man is Ricky Pearsall is like top 5 rated PFF receiver right now in the league. Here you go calling out the Achilles heel, man. It be your own people. You ain't right.
He also, I believe, leads the league in contested catch rate.
Yeah. Don't try to clean it up. I'm saying
that's not a good stat. You don't want to lead in that stat. You want to get the ball clean. That just means he's always covered when he catches the ball. Yeah,
definitely. There was another injury that kind of snuck by us as well too. Who was there? Another injured player that recently just got injured?
Well, so Connor Colby is still injured.
Not Connor Colby.
So the injuries, so Ricky Pearsall obviously was something that we found out Wednesday. So CJ West has the broken thumb. I don't know if that's
right. We know about that.
Brock Purdy. Renardo Green with a neck. Giamador Lenore was also out with an illness or limited in practice due to illness. So the players that didn't practice is Pearsall, Watkins, Jennings, West, Williams, and McCaffrey, and Yetur Gross-Matos. Yetur is probably not going to play. He did not practice with a knee injury again.
That's huge.
That knee injury that's really big because he was starting to really come on. He was actually stacking a couple of games healthy and was starting to really come on, especially rushing from the interior, which would have allowed Michael Williams to play a little bit more on the edge. So that's just kind of – so Burford did not show up on the injury report that I saw today, and I don't remember Kyle Shanahan listing him either in the press conference. He was on the most recent injury list if you go to Pro Football Reference, but that hasn't been updated since September 18th. So he's on that injury list.
Great, man. Hey, well, I think we're all caught up on injuries, replacements of injuries, talking about guys coming in. We talked about Demarcus Robinson coming in. I can't wait to see what Demarcus Robinson is going to do. But let's also get into the next. Oh, wait a minute. How did we skip this? Brock Purdy's coming back.
He should be back this week. Yeah,
we've got to always have a Brock Purdy segment with us too, because you are the chairman of the Brock Purdy fan club. Nobody loves Brock more than you, my guy. So, what do you expect to see from old Brocky Poo when he gets back? What do you expect to see? Now. We're a passing team. We're going to talk about that next. Offensive struggles is coming next. But is Brock going to drop back 35 plus times, right? Or is he going to be athletic in the pocket? Is he going to maneuver the pocket? I already brought this up on the other show. Look, I'm not looking for Brock to rush. I'm looking for Brock to be athletic behind the line of scrimmage. I really want to see what he can do as maneuvering the pocket, being able to manage his short area quickness. That's the key. That's what makes Brock special as far as athleticism is concerned. But tell me, man, is Brock going to be pressing because he feels Mac Jones breathing down his back? I mean, what are we going to see from Brock Purdy versus the Jaguars?
Well, I think Brock Purdy always presses. That's his mentality. He's always looking for that play. That's kind of a little bit of the good and the bad with Brock Purdy is he throws too many YOLO balls, but they work a lot too. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's worried at all, because I think he's sitting in the meetings and he's seeing the same thing that I saw on tape, which was Mac Jones on each of the first 3 series miss wide open wide receivers. There was an out and up that he missed. There was on the first series, he missed Jake Tonjes wide open, and all these where he's just dumping the ball off to Christian McCaffrey with a guy wide open down the field. Another one was Ricky Pearsall.
I see what you're doing
on the second series. All I'm doing is telling you what I saw when I watched.
See what you're doing. It's cool. It's cool. Okay?
When Ricky Pearsall in the second series, Ricky Pearsall is literally stopped in the middle of the field, looking right at Mac Jones with his hands up, and Mac Jones climbs the pocket, which he doesn't usually do very well. He then takes a check down to Christian McCaffrey out to the slant, to the outside. So I don't think that Brock Purdy is going to miss those wide open shots. He's always looking for those shots down the field. So I actually think we might see the offense open up a little bit more than what we've seen with Mac Jones. Mac Jones has played very well. I'm not trying to hate on Mac Jones. And he got us 2 victories that I thought we'd lose at least one. With all the injuries and everything else, I didn't expect him to come in and play as well as he did. However, when I went back and looked at the tape, there are so many plays that he left out on the field that I think Brock Purdy doesn't leave on the field.
All right. One thing I will say, be careful with the Mac Jones hype, okay? I understand. I like Mac Jones as a player. I even like him more as a person. I think that his personality is exactly what the doctor ordered for our type of locker room. There's a lot of personalities and there's a lot of deer paths inside of these woods that everybody knows, and things can get a little redundant. But when you get somebody who's a little bit of a force contributor, he breaks things. Mac is that guy, and when they do it genuinely, it's a good thing. And I think that's what Mac is doing for our team. He's giving us the license to win without caring, right? Sometimes, you ever heard of the phrase of dance like nobody's looking? Like sometimes when you get a reputation about yourself, you can tend to be thinking about the people that are watching you instead of you watching your job. And I think the Niners have a little bit of that. And it's grown over years. And for me, guys like Mac Jones allow us or remind us what it was like when football was our thing, right? It wasn't about the league and trying to prove who we are and, bouncing back against the Eagles and all of these vendettas. It was our thing. It was the faithful thing, right? And that's what I love about what Mac Jones represents for us. He allows us to remember that part of ourselves. But, man, it was the Saints and the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Okay. These were not world beater teams. Okay. There were a lot of instances where they had opportunities to win this game and put them away. And the last thing I want to do is for us to finally get this kid signed in Brock Purdy. And in 2 weeks, we're ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. All right. Mac Jones is a good backup. He's great for the organization, good locker room guy from all reports told, and he's going to be phenomenal for us for this year and next year. But I'm looking for Brock to come in and kind of squash this whole pseudo.
I totally agree.
Like he needs to come in and just squash this, right? Have a good game. We win because of Brock. And it's like, okay, well, why did we win? Well, we had our starter back. Full stop.
Yep.
Full stop.
That's right.
And that's what I want to see with Brock moving forward. What say you?
I agree with that entirely. I expect Brock to do exactly that. However, there's some things within Brock's game that aren't clear when you're watching the game until you go back and look. There's decisions that he makes, decisions that he doesn't make. He just consistently he doesn't very often. So one of the things that stood out to me going back and watching tape in the last 3 games, Brock Purdy does not have anywhere near as many plays where there's a guy running open and Brock doesn't throw him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Mac Jones has one of those plays on almost every series.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the difference between a backup quarterback and a franchise starter. The franchise starter doesn't miss those plays. The backup does. And I mean that generally, not just these two. That's general in the league. That's why one guy's the backup and one guy's making $50 million. And he's the franchise guy.
So you expect Brock to come in and just not miss a beat. Tell me about the struggles that you
Absolutely.
think that you're going to see from Brock Purdy. Or is this just 100% he's ready to go?
I think he'll be perfectly fine. I think he'll be at 70% completion percentage. He'll throw for 200 plus yards. I think he'll probably throw a pick because he just is going to throw a YOLO ball or two in the game. But he'll probably throw a couple of touchdowns too. So it really is a matter with Brock. My primary concern is, does he take care of the football? And does he
Which
play
he does
well?
not.
He has in his track record of late, the last 15, 20 games, he's trending in the wrong direction, taking care of the ball. That needs to get better. And he also needs to play better in critical situations. The one thing I will say about Mac is he played terrific in the 2 minutes. He played terrific at the end of the first half, at the end of the second half. He played really well his third down. Now, we did terrible on third downs in this last game. We converted 2 third downs out of 15 in this last game and still won the game somehow. Somebody's going to have to explain that to me. But for the most part, Mac has been very good situationally. And that's something that Brock needs to continue. He needs to get better situationally, and he needs to get better at not putting the ball in harm's way.
I'm going to keep it 100 with you. The difference in Mac Jones and Brock Purdy is 2 things and 2 things alone. Tempo and 2 minute. Mac Jones is 2 minute. It's night and day. I have not seen Brock Purdy command the offense in 2 minute this way.
It's clean.
Oh my God, it's so clean. The first half against the Saints, when we closed out 77 yards in damn near a minute, and they close out the 2 minute warning to close out the Arizona game. I mean, we haven't seen that type of efficiency in the offense. And then lastly, tempo. They're speeding up the tempo of the offense. Tempo is a weapon. Okay.
I agree.
It's a weapon. And for years, the Niners have been the slowest offense in the NFL for years. And
by a wide margin.
It's not even close. And I get it. Complimentary football, keeping your defense fresh, eating up the clock, running the ball, being able to lap teams. I mean, Nick Saban has been doing this with crazy recruiting classes at Alabama for years. We know the game is over by half if Nick laps you. It's over, right? We get all that. But for me, I just felt like being able to use tempo as having a little bit of savvy, a little bit of nuance with your offense, understanding what'll work if you speed things up. I think that a quarterback like Mac Jones almost commanded that a little bit from Kyle, like, hey, this is something that I do. You're going to have to actually do to put this baked into the offense. It also shows that the fact that they can do this so quickly with Mac is that maybe Kyle doesn't believe that Brock can do it.
That's kind of that would be my next question to you is how much of the tempo do you think is on the different quarterback and how much of it is on Kyle Shanahan having it in the game plan to go more up tempo this season?
I don't know. I don't understand why he doesn't go up tempo with Brock. Terradome, I've talked about it. If you watch the live watch parties, man, I'm 2 years in and I bring it up damn near every time. Like, why is this so slow? Why is this so slow? Pick it up. Pick up the pace. I'm telling you. So, and for the type of offensive line that we have, these guys should be in shape. We just let these big defensive lines tee off on us.
Yep.
They sit down, they get all set up, they get in their little pretty stance, and we're measuring 10 times. We're measuring 10 times to cut once. I get it. But sometimes you got to leave a little bit of room for crazy. Okay? Human error. Guys make a mistake. You can't always force a mistake out of a defender or a type of offense making a bad timing play. A lot of times we need to start beating teams the way teams customarily have started beating us when we were at our best. How were teams beating us? They were taking our asses in the backyard. They were taking coaches away from it and saying, all right, it's the last 4 minutes. We're about to just outplay y'all. We know we're not going to wait. We're going to go up tempo. We're not going to sit back and wait for our coach to tell us plays and wait to get things all gussied up nice and pretty. We're here to mess things up. Offensively, we're blitzing you. We're taking your head up. We're not going to sit back and let somebody get picked apart and that's a little bit of why the Niners are 3-0. We've kind of smashed and grabbed and stole some games. And that's what it takes when you're the type of team that we are. Everything can't be so official. You got to steal some shit. I believe it was something. You got to steal some shit sometimes.
Yep. So when I look back, I remember the tempo of the offense being similar when we had Jimmy. It was the same. They tried to do the same thing even in the 4 games that Trey played. It was the same way even before that. So to me, the up-tempo thing is Kyle making a decision to go up-tempo. I'm wondering if he's doing that because he feels like Mac Jones, with having only one offseason with the team, does he not know like the full, like he doesn't know the playbook in full? Because they always say it takes 2 years for a quarterback to understand the system. So, or maybe Kyle Shanahan, let me actually phrase this differently. Kyle Shanahan doesn't feel confident with where Mac Jones is in certain parts of the offense. And so he can go up tempo by using just what's in the game plan that week. Do you think it could be something like that, or does that not make any sense at all?
I think it's in the inverse. And I think what we're talking about begs the question. We're talking about speed and pace with up tempo.
Mm-hmm.
What is one of the biggest things that hurts Brock Purdy? When he is sped up. When he has to speed up his process. When Brock is rushed, Brock makes mistakes.
Interesting.
When Brock has to play ahead of the tempo of where Christian's going to be in the flat, or where Brandon Ayuk is going to be in the deep over, or where George Kittle is going to be on the seam route. If Brock does not have that right away, and if Brock is sped up by a defense where he can't go through the process that's been baked into him from Kyle, that's where you see him struggle.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
Versus where Mac, the bullets flying, sometimes you got to understand that sometimes players are built by their circumstance.
Yeah.
Mac Jones has never played with a good team.
No.
Mac Jones is
with Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, no, what I'm talking about as a pro.
Yeah. Did I lose you again? Is this my internet? This is frustrating. Is this my internet? Did I lose you again? I don't know if this is mine or not. So you make a really good point about him getting sped up. Is that my internet or yours, Coach?
Nah, that was me. I just got clipped off. We're good.
Okay. So I was just going to say, you make a really good point about Brock Purdy and getting sped up by defenses, and that maybe Kyle Shanahan, by keeping the tempo low and slow, is trying to play to Brock Purdy's strengths. And he sees in practice that when he speeds Brock Purdy up, the processing is not as good. That could be, I don't know whether that is or not, but that does make sense when you say that way.
Yeah. I think that Kyle, there was, what were we talking? There was some conversation or a topic where the conversation where I think me and Jesse were talking on Monday, we talked about like Kyle always does good with quarterbacks right away because he plays to their strengths, because that's the only thing that he can see right away, right?
Yep.
Is what they can do. But if you get him for a little while, Kyle starts seeing what he can't do with them, and then he starts coaching him around his deficiencies, not his strengths. And that's one thing that I feel like we're in the latter instead of the former with Mac and Kyle, where right now, Kyle, it's almost like riding a bike or getting your motorcycle until you fall off for the first time. And then it's like, you still want to ride? Right. And I feel like with Kyle, every time he falls off the bike with the quarterback, it's like, yeah, I'm wearing a helmet. I'm putting on knee pads. We're putting on leather jackets.
I'm taking the turn a little slower.
Yeah, we're flying. We're only driving during the daytime. No night riding, like nothing over 70 miles an hour. That's it. I'm not enduring this again. I'm not going to fall off. And then there's some people that just get back on the bike and they're just saying, hey, it is what it is.
I thought that was very intuitive when I heard, because I watched that show with you and Jesse on Monday, and I thought that was very intuitive when you said that, that he kind of has a shift, because the same thing happened with Jimmy. The same thing. You could even say the same thing happened with Nick Mullins, because Nick Mullins came out like lightning, and Kyle Shanahan's just given him what he can do. After about 8 games, it falls off a cliff. Mm-hmm. And I think that you make a really good point about Kyle Shanahan. He gets to a certain point where he feels comfortable with the quarterback can and can't do, and starts coaching around the deficiencies instead. That's a great take.
Hey, man, let's get some super chats out the way before we get to our next topic. I'm sorry, Hugo, but Hugo de Jesus, Brock Purdy is not scared of Mac. Brock Purdy killed the Jags. Yes, he did. And then also Brock Purdy did the same, and Moody missed the field goal. Browns.
That's true.
That's true. That would have been the comeback of all comebacks if Moody didn't miss, because Brock was cooking. Let's get into our next topic, man.
To be clear about Brock Purdy, while you're pulling up the next topic, Brock Purdy has had several games, right? The Lions game and the NFC Championship game, the Browns game he just talked about. There's plenty of times where Brock has played well down the stretch. He's gotten the team back in it. It's not like he's just a total trailer as opposed to truck type of quarterback. It's about the consistency. Brock Purdy does not consistently play well in those types of situations. It's a little bit of a roller coaster. And what I think Coach and I agree on is we want to see better, more consistent play in those situations, and we'd like to see him go with more tempo as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to see Brock. I mean, this is another thing too. I mean, while we're on the Brock Purdy subject, it's high time for more ownership. He's got the money. He's got the money. Give him ownership of the offense.
But that's Kyle
no way. I got to be honest. Even I am not. Like, Brock Purdy is my quarterback. I'm treating this like the president of the United States. He's my quarterback. All right. In order for me to be a fan, I got to accept my quarterback. Yep. So I get it. And I see tons of potential in Brock. And let's see why he's a starter. I think Brock is one of the top 15 quarterbacks in the league. I do. Now, with that said, there needs to begin a shift from this offensive coordinator offense where everything is about Kyle to the point where now this is Brock Purdy's offense. Brock Purdy needs more ownership. There's no way in the world that we should be able to see Mac Jones coming here for one year, not even 1 year, a couple of games, and we're seeing elements of the offense that we've never seen ran at a regular clip with Brock Purdy. That's preposterous. Especially with the money that he's getting paid right now. So when do you think Brock will get ownership of the offense? Because I think that's the next step. He's earned it. They say he's earned it because they paid him.
When Kyle's no longer the head coach.
Damn.
That's the answer. It's not going to happen while Kyle's the head coach. This will be Kyle Shanahan's offense as long as he's the head coach. And don't take this the wrong way. I'm not calling, fire Kyle Shanahan stuff. That'd be wild to say fire Kyle Shanahan after he went 3-0 and directed this team to 3-0 with all the injuries and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think it's in Kyle's nature to not be the primary reason the offense succeeds or fails.
He's got to be the reason why.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, the ownership that Mac Jones has had over the offense is striking, and you can't unsee it. And if Brock starts getting in positions where he's walking out of the huddle during 2 minute, or they're not using tempo, it's going to be noticeable to the fans. And I tell you right now, there is a world where the quick reaction fan is going to be asking for Mac Jones if Brock Purdy does not look good against the Jags, nonetheless against the Rams with a quick turnaround on Thursday. Do you think there's a world for that?
That world exists. If he plays poorly in the next 2 games, everybody's going to be saying you got 10 days, get Mac in there. That conversation is going to happen. I think it's crazy. Now, well, let me watch the tape on the next 2 games before I say it's crazy. But as things stand today, Brock Purdy has been a much more efficient and effective quarterback for the 49ers in his 1 game than Mac Jones was in his 2. And the
really, you feel that way?
Yeah, and the tape shows it as well. There are so many plays. We should have won that game by 30 against Arizona.
Hold on, man. Brock Purdy makes that pass to Juwan Jennings in the back of the end zone.
He did it. He's done it to Brandon Ayuk. He hit one to George Kittle in triple coverage where he beat 3 guys with the ball placement last year. That was against, I think, New England. He has the best play he's ever made. Didn't even count because BA didn't catch it. Brock Purdy has made that play over and over again in his career.
All right, man. Okay. We just, I'm just trying to see where you stand, brother. That's all. Just trying to see where you stand.
So, I want to move on. I want to move on to the head coach because you've created a monster as it pertains to Kyle Shanahan.
All right, so let's go.
Your fault.
Offensive struggles, man. Let's start talking about. I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to talk about it first. The Niners are not a running football team anymore. We are not. That is not our identity. If you've been paying attention, we throw the ball a hell of a lot. Okay. Not only do we throw the ball, but we are the only team that has not had a rushing touchdown within 3 weeks of the season. Talk to me about the offensive struggles, Damon. And where does your boy Kyle sit in your matrix of responsibility?
So I'm going to give people a little peek behind the curtain. Coach and I have literally screamed at each other about Kyle Shanahan. And there were some things that I was not considering in my analysis that Coach helped me see the light when it comes to Kyle Shanahan.
Bro, you were tilted. Give it up. Stop trying to act like I had to teach you calculus for you to see the light. You were a Kyle fan, bro. Stop.
Stan. I was not a fan. I was a stan. I was a straight up Kyle stan. I love Kyle Shanahan when he first came in. And I still really like a lot of things about Kyle Shanahan. But you helped me see something that I can't unsee. And that is that Kyle Shanahan is only talked about as far as being excellent as an offensive coordinator. Every single thing that people say Kyle Shanahan is excellent at is about being an offensive coordinator. Not one thing have people brought up and said he's excellent at this or excellent at that, and it has anything to do with being a head coach. His number one attributes are his ability to understand the rules of a defense and how to scheme against that and to get his players into a position to succeed against a defense. That is his number one quality, or I'm sorry, his number one skill. His second skill is he truly is a football guru. Like the dude has forgotten more about football than I'll probably ever learn. He really knows football, football in a way that most people don't. He spent his entire life around it. But the problem is none of that makes you a great head coach. That makes you a great offensive coordinator. And the thing that has stood out to me as I've thought about this over the last couple of weeks is how many teams are running the Kyle Shanahan, quote, Kyle Shanahan system around the league. But the problem is this. Every one of them has developed and continued to progress the offense, and Kyle Shanahan hasn't. This innovative offensive mastermind that we have all been told he is. Sean McVay has totally changed and redeveloped the drop back passing game. In Minnesota, they use totally different pass protections. And the only thing that still remains as far as Kyle Shanahan's offense as it's being used around the league is the angles of blocking. Yeah, me too. He created a monster.
He's over to the dark side.
I can't unsee it.
You've lost him. Hey, Stan, you lost another one. He's over to the dark side.
It's so frustrating. Kyle Shanahan's offense hasn't changed in 10 years. He's running the same shit he ran in Atlanta. He's been our head coach for almost a decade, and we're running the same offense. All these other offensive coordinators that Kyle Shanahan is supposedly the guy who taught them, and yet they have taken his offense to another level, and Kyle Shanahan hasn't. What I'm seeing in the offense this year is a run blocking scheme that doesn't work anymore because we have the same guys, and they can't open a hole. Full Sith.
If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
I just don't understand. I like Kyle. I think he's a great football coach. I think he's a great offensive mind. I don't understand why the offense is so stale. And that's what it is to me. It's stale. The run blocking scheme hasn't changed. It hasn't developed, and it's no longer working and opening up holes. Kyle Shanahan, you put this offensive line together. So if it can't move anybody, that's also your fault. You can't say the offensive line isn't good enough because you built it. Everything that's going on with the offense is because we have players banged up, Kittle, and so on and so forth. But the fact is the offense hasn't changed in a decade, and it's not going to get better unless Kyle makes real changes. In the protection schemes and the drop pack passing games, he's got to do exactly what you're saying and give more to Brock Purdy, let him have more ownership of the offense. They've got to go tempo. They've got to change some things out. They have to. This is on Kyle Shanahan.
Cook! That's what I'm talking about. You cook like that every show. That's what you do.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey. I'm proud, man. I'm proud. You said the thing with the thing, and then you said the offense.
I can't unsee it.
And he said
it's
the
your fault.
with the scene and the unseen. It was just beautiful, man. It was beautiful. It shed a tear, man. You know. In good times and bad times, you're the only one forevermore. That's what Chunder's for. That's what I'm talking about.
The worst part about everything I just said is everything I said is about him as a coordinator still. Now he's not even good enough as a coordinator. He's backsliding as a coordinator. And that's your best skill for this team.
Yeah.
That's a real problem. Our defense is third in the league in points scored. That's the only reason we're 3-0.
You know what's awesome about all of this is don't look now, but Robert Saleh is the reason why we've won all three of these games. He's out-coaching the shit out of Kyle. Let's talk about it. Now let's talk about it. Robert Saleh's got rookies. How come Kyle can't play rookies? Robert Saleh's starting rookies and playing with the number 3 overall defense in the NFL. Robert Saleh's getting the best out of his veterans. What's up with Kyle? What's going on? They are out and they're playing for each other on defense, bro. They are playing together. All right. There is a cohesiveness with these dudes where I feel like there's an awareness. They know they're not as good as they are, and they're here to prove a point about something that we don't know. They're here to prove that they're way better than what we think they are. There is a chip on their shoulder. Robert Saleh, it's on every player that he has on the field. What is going on with the offense in this milquetoast bullshit? I'm over it. All right? We don't even run the ball. Another thing. Let's get into it. So, why is Brian Robinson Jr. already not getting reps? He comes in for 1 rep, runs for 19 yards, and poof, abracadabra, he's gone. We don't see him for the rest of the game.
Are you surprised? I'm not.
Man, it's time. Let's get into another topic, man. Hold on. The offensive line.
It's a tough one.
Now, this is confusing. The offensive line, which is the number 1 rated offensive line in PFF, is the problem. We've already talked about some stats. I just heard some stats from our boy Ryan Hensley on the 4-man front on Patreon. Check it out. It's awesome. But Ben Bartch is ranked top 5 in PFF. Okay, what are we talking? Jake Brindle is ranked high in PFF rankings. What are we doing? How do you feel about the offensive line thus far? And I got news for you. I think that they have settled in during games. However, not as dynamic in the run game, But I have a caveat for that. You talk to me about the offensive line before I give you my take.
So the offensive line PFF numbers, there's a couple of things that skew them. One, Ben Barch, when he played only, 8 games or 8 plays or whatever before he went out in game 2. So he has a super high grade because he played 8 good plays before he got injured. So that throws his entire number off because the sample size, so on and so forth. That's why his number looks like it does. With Brendel, the reason his overall number is so good is because his pass blocking actually has been solid. He can't move anybody in the run game. He gets blown up in the run game. He constantly watches the guy he's supposed to be blocking tackle the running back. And I do mean watches him. Turned around, blown up, and watches the tackle happen consistently. The reason his PFF numbers look like that is because he has solid pass blocking grades. That's the only reason.
Hey, man, I'll tell you this. There's conversations about Dominic Puni regressing. He's injured. I'm more prone to giving him grace, learning how to play injured as a young offensive lineman. When you're injured as an offensive lineman and it's lower extremity, we're talking knee, foot, ankle, and you're doing a lot of pounding and road grading. It's almost like trying to do job with a work truck and you got a flat tire. I mean, it's a lot of weight distribution with those big boys down there, especially with what you got to do in technique and being able to stay parallel to the line of scrimmage. Also being able to play with good power angles, right? Being able to have good leverage. All of that goes out the window if you're asked to play rather than being able to sit back and know that there's really nobody behind you. So I'm willing to give Dominic Puni a little bit of grace. Although if you just looked at the film, he looks like a borderline starter. We got to be honest. He looks like a borderline starter. He struggled mightily in the past couple of games, but I'm here to give him a little bit more grace. Also, speaking of grace, Trent Williams, first game of the season, my God. I mean, it was the ice capades.
Not good.
He was all over the place, shaking ass all over the place. All right. Game against New Orleans, game against Arizona. You didn't really hear a lot of noise from edges coming off the edge, getting sacks on Mac Jones. He's settled in nicely, even though I do believe that he's playing hurt. Connor Colby, again, he's a rookie. It's hard for me to go with them. Right. And it's hard for me to go at these guys as a unit when I know the context of each player, right? Of all 5, right? Now, as a unit, you could ball them up like old paper, like old homework and throw them in the trash. You really could. Right, as a unit. If you look at them as a unit, you're like, Jesus Christ, they're bad. But when you know what all 5 are dealing with, it's hard for you to ignore the information that you know. And right now, and on top of the fact that we don't prioritize in this unit, we don't.
No.
So one thing that also I wanted to get into, speaking of the offensive line, is the running game. Right, what I opened up the topic with is that we are now a passing team. Now I understand that the offensive line gets a lot of flack, especially for interior running, right? I've heard Grant say things that to the effect of we get no push in the middle of the offensive line, and I tend to agree with them. However,
I see.
I don't necessarily think that you're putting the offensive line in the best positions when you have a back in CMC who's not a tough runner. Even when he was in his prime, he's not a guy that you put in the middle of the trenches to go get the goal line touchdown. In his prime, he could get it done, but it wasn't his forte. Now that he perceivably has taken a step back, before I go there, I don't just want to skip over that. Do you think CMC has lost a step?
I disagree almost entirely with the narrative around CMC.
Now, I'm so glad I stopped. Let me hear this shit.
I didn't want to cut you off.
You think that CMC has not lost a step?
No, I think that he might have lost a half a step maybe, but CMC was never fast. CMC is a 5'11", 210-pound running back, 206 pounds or whatever he is. He has always been more of a power back who's explosive. He's never been a speed back. Go back and watch when he was in Carolina. He got ran down.
Power back.
He breaks. He is amongst the league leaders in broken tackles per game every year that he's healthy.
CMC is a slasher, bro. He is not a power back, bro.
He is amongst the league leaders in broken tackle rate and yards after contact every year that he's healthy.
Okay.
He is also not a guy who is a breakaway touchdown scorer. He scores from 30 yards out, not 50. If he breaks out midfield, he will get run down. He has incredible explosive burst. He has never had top end speed. I can't stand it. Everybody keeps talking about Christian McCaffrey like he's not a power back. And he is a break arm tackles, quick burst, athletic running back. He is not a speed back who gets tackled by arm tackles. He's not, and he never has been.
Hey, bro, look. You know you my guy. And we about to have our first like wild ass disagreement on stream, bro. Christian McCaffrey is not a power back, bro. He is not a power back. He is not even close to that. Christian McCaffrey is a slasher. All right. He is a pick and pop back. All right. He has incredible vision, even better feet, great angles, plays with good center lower gravity, and he slashes into holes, right? He slashes in back cuts. He is not a 5'10" to 6 foot, 220 to 230 pound guy that will absolutely put your dick in the dirt if you get in his way. He is not that guy. CMC is not. He's taking half a man. He's not running guys over. I don't want to. I'm just saying he's not. That's just. And you know what? That's my opinion, right? I'm not even here to like double down and say what I'm saying is fact, but that's my opinion. I don't think that he's a power back. I think the CMC is a very athletic, skilled slasher who is just as equally dangerous in the passing game as a receiver. And I do believe that a little bit of what made him so great in between the tackles is his suddenness, his vision, his ability to be able to cut back, bounce, or drive or press the hole. I think that his foot speed is slowed down a little bit with his lower extremity injuries. I think that he's not as flexible as a runner. He stands a little too tall to be of a back that is a little bit smaller stature. One of the things that was great about CMC is that he never took punishment because he was always so low to the ground. He always had an opportunity to ingest blows rather than take them on. Now, CMC can't even protect himself. You saw that play. What was that play? Was that the fourth down at the goal line where Mac Jones throws the CMC in the flat and he gets tattooed? That's a guy who can't control his body. You know what I'm saying? Like his core is gone. So in my opinion, he has lost a step.
So let me clarify something. I'm not saying that he is an Earl Campbell power back. What I'm saying is that he is more of a power back than he is a speed back. Mm-hmm. And he gets talked about like he's a speed back and like he leans more speed back than he does power back. I think you're totally correct in calling him a slasher. That's probably the most accurate way to describe him. When I say he's more of a power back than a speed back, what I'm getting at is that he runs through more tackles than he does run around.
Respect.
He breaks a ton of tackles and he forces missed tackles at a very high rate. He does not run around guys. He does not outrun angles or do any of those things. He breaks arm tackles consistently. He is more of a power back than he is a speed back. However, I think you're totally correct in calling him more of a slasher.
Yo, MG2 is about to jump through the
runs
screen
with power.
at your ass.
Right? Yeah. That's right. But he runs with power more than he does speed. He's more of a power back than he is a speed back. And he gets talked about like he's some sort of super fast speed back. He's lost it. He hasn't. Has he lost a touch of explosiveness? I don't know that I agree he has or hasn't, but I'm not going to argue if someone says he has. I don't.
So talk to me about, all right. So this is one thing. I'll quantify the entire debate. Explosiveness is mostly a derivative of what? Your first step.
Acceleration. Yeah.
Right? Acceleration.
Yeah.
So when people say that Christian McCaffrey has lost a step, I think that they're not speaking to his speed because Christian McCaffrey was never a home run threat. Never. Even in his prime, he wasn't a home run threat.
But he constantly gets talked about like he is. Constantly.
Okay. But I think that what people are alluding to when they say he has lost a step is that Christian McCaffrey is not as explosive as he once was. Christian McCaffrey is not as quick or dynamic in a short area of field, in a small confined space as he once was. Do you understand that?
No, for sure. Again, I'm not sure if I agree or disagree. I think a big part of what we are seeing potentially is the fact that there's nothing in front of him for him to explode to or through. Part of why we see it look slower is because there's nowhere for him to go. He gets the ball and there's no crease, there's no seam, there's nothing for him to hit. The handful of times he has looked explosive. There's plenty of plays you can go back and see on tape where he looks way more explosive because there's actually a seam to hit.
But that ain't the song we dancing to, brother. You in here pop locking and shit, and we playing gospel music. We playing Shirley Caesar, and you in here dancing like we got on Uncle Luke. That's the problem. The issue is that with the offensive line that we have, you can't use CMC in the red zone with a single back, all right, in shotgun. That ain't going to work with this offensive line. Riddle me this, Batman. We had the same type of offensive line last year. Would you not agree?
Essentially.
Probably
right? Improvement at left guard, actually. I think
all right.
Is better than Banks.
Okay. Look at what Jordan Mason did with this offensive line. He was leading the NFL in yards per carry at damn near 6 yards. Okay. He was damn near leading the NFL in rushing, and we were closing games with Jordan Mason. Now, what's the difference if the control of this experiment is the offensive line, which is the same from this year to last year? One would even say that this offensive line is a little bit better because we have an active Trent Williams, right? Okay. What would be the difference? The difference would definitely not be that there's two different running backs, because we already know that, but it would be in the style in which they run, right? I think that now the beauty of CMC is that and I'm going to talk to you from just an offensive lineman's perspective. This is just me playing. I hated blocking for backs that I had to babysit. My man, if I give you a seam, you better turn that motherfucker into a crease. If I give you a crease, you better turn it into a gap. If I give you a gap, turn it into a hole. If I give you a hole, you better score. You better score. Don't waste my shit. Score. Okay. Yeah. CMC used to be that guy where you can give him the back, you can give him the ball, okay? And that same offensive line, he would make them right with his explosiveness, with pressing the line of scrimmage, with taking advantage of angles, understanding that there's a double team that might slip a little early so I can stay back a little bit and then accelerate at the stop of a dime. That type of stuff of being where they call it slow to and fast through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That slow to fast through, CMC was elite at that tempo of not only being able to utilize the offensive line in front of him, but being able to take gaps at an instant when they were there. He can't do that anymore. So what you need is you're going in with a scalpel and you need an axe. And my problem is that with this offensive line, you're going to need a back like Brian Robinson, right? To be Rob. You're going to need Jordan James is going to have to come and actually be a guy. CMC is best utilized, okay? CMC is best utilized as being a long handoff guy. Coming out of the flat, we got a shotgun. CMC, give me a draw, give me a duo, give me a screen, all right? Come out of the backfield, get into the slot, route up somebody, come off of a wheel route, give me your reverses, give me your gadget plays. Give him stuff where you get him in space and allow him to be himself. But giving him the ball straight from the backfield at the clip that they're projecting to, that they're forecasting to, he's not going to last the season if you don't recognize that he's not the same back.
So you've convinced me. the more I think about this as you're talking, I'm kind of going through plays in my head and stuff like that. And I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I'm trying to kind of visualize what's going on in the game. So I do agree with you that he's probably lost at least a half a step as far as his explosiveness.
Mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, the more I think I probably agree with you there. My question to you is, how much of what we see is the offensive line blocking has been terrible in the run game. It's been good, not great, but definitely above acceptable.
Oh no, run game.
In the passing
everything
game.
that I have good to say about the offensive line is primarily on their pass protection, right?
So,
and that has been, but their run game blocking has been putrid. It's been bad.
So if we have the same offensive line as we had last year that was opening up holes for Jordan Mason, what has happened to this offensive line this year that's making it so difficult for them to run the ball? Is there anything that you've seen that you can point to that says this is why? I mean, Pooney's regressed, but is he just regressed? I'm wondering if the way that they coach run – the critical thing with Kyle's run scheme and the way he draws up the blocking and stuff like that is about the angles. I've heard a bunch of coaches say that what makes his running game special is that he creates angles for his offensive linemen that makes their job really easy. Has that fallen apart? Have defenses figured out how to adjust to that and take that away from him? Is that potentially part of what's going on?
No, I really think that Kyle has gotten a little bit lazy.
Okay.
I think that we haven't used everybody on the offense. I believe that another thing that we just saw mentioned by Trip Aces is that injuries play a big part into it. We're missing the best offensive lineman that we have, and that's George Kittle. So that's huge, not being able to have George Kittle there with Luke Farrell. Also, being able to just get guys back into the room as far as the receivers are concerned, that's a huge problem. So right now, I do believe that, there's a lot of different things that we could do with this offense. Playing B-Rob more is something that I would love to see top of the order. Putting Christian out at slot and just stop the charade. He's a receiver. That would help us. I just believe that. And then also, too, not being bitch made, bro. Running the football is, you got to be true to that. Like, it is a calling. You have to keep running the ball. Even the carries that don't matter, you still have to keep running the ball. You got to be bought into it in order for it to work, right? And Kyle knows that more than anybody, because that's the identity of this team. What I believe is that he is coaching for his life right now, because right now, if this offense doesn't respond, there's a world where we can start losing games and it could be clear that it's the offense.
Yeah.
Clear that it's the offense. So, maybe he's got to get it together.
Maybe this will clear some things up. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are about this. So inside zone percentage, outside zone percentage, and man duo percentage. And I'd like you to maybe explain to us what the difference is between man duo and zone.
Okay.
Our inside zone running rate is 18.3%. Our outside zone running rate is 30.5%. But do you know what's higher than both of them? It's man duo at 31.7. We're running more man duo than we are running outside zone or inside zone. Is that potentially part of the problem here? Is there something wrong with the construction of our offensive line? It's not designed to run man duo. It's designed to run zone. Is that potentially part of the issue?
No, look, I'm going to tell you this right now. I love all running schemes, right? But I hate being married to one. I think that offensive linemen are supposed to be built from a foundation of what you want first, which is, I want strong, big, strong hand offensive linemen. Okay. These guys are athletic. They don't have to run. They don't have to run all day. They don't have to run 4.5s or 4.8s. They ain't got to run 5 flats. I just want these guys to play as a unit. I want guys that are strong as oxes. They play with good pad level and they fire off the ball. Everything else from there, we'll find our tempo. And once we find our tempo, we'll find out what running scheme works best for us. That's the way I've always played, where we don't take the offensive lineman to fit a scheme. We take the offensive lineman and then we fit the scheme based off of what we got, right? But at the same time, I didn't coach in the league. I didn't coach big time college football. I coached places where we took the best we had. And then it was like, all right, well, I guess we run a zone this year because our offensive line, everybody weighs 295 to 305, right? And we run the zone. All right, I guess we running body on body this year. I guess we running duo, but you still sprinkle other things in. I do believe that a lot of the yards that we've been trying to get are tough yards. And I think that getting away from zone would speak to maybe Trent Williams can't get that reach block. That's one thing about what's been so awesome about Trent is that, and not only Trent, but just other players on the team, but primarily the offense, is that they have these attributes that are just on demand elite. Like, and we don't have that anymore. And I don't think Kyle realizes that. Like, there was a time where Trent Williams, there was no defensive end that was getting outside of Trent Williams's reach. You were getting reached as an edge. If Trent Williams came out there, you were getting reached. Now that's not a thing anymore. And we got to figure out ways how to create yards or manufacture yards on the ground around that. So I will tell you, I don't know what the numbers actually correlate to, but I will tell you that it's the offensive line. It's hard for me to sit there and treat them like they're the Ravens or they're the Colts or they're the Eagles and ask them to have all of this great response when I don't even really think that we buy into the run game, because you have to suck at it first before you're good.
One last stat that I'll hit you with.
And let's close out with this.
Before we move on. The stacked box rate. The 49ers have played against a stacked box for years now. They are one of the highest teams in the league against a stacked box. Mm-hmm. This year, they're 28th in the league. They're not running against stacked boxes and still can't run the ball. And I don't understand.
Hey, man, from your lips to God's ears, let's get some super chats out the way before we get out of here. All right. Hugo, let Brock loose. Mac has 2 games. He's not the guy. We'll see if Kyle will let Brock loose. And Joseph Unberg, could this be the bottom of the league offense? I don't know. What do you think, Damon?
I mean, right now it's a bottom third. It's a bottom third offense. So it depends on what you mean by bottom of the league. They're not the worst, but they're below average.
Definitely. Hey, man, what do you got coming up for the rest of the week? Talk to me about Niner Narrative.
So I've got Niners by the numbers. I'm going to be recording that after we get done here. So that'll probably be up tomorrow. And then Friday, I'll be doing a review and a look ahead for the weekend. And then it'll be Monday, Wednesday, Friday moving forward. I'll have 3 shows coming out each week. Still, this last week, I've been trying to kind of get my schedule together. But next week, I should be able to stick with the schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 videos a week, trying to bring context to the conversation.
Hey, man, we love it. Tomorrow, it's going to be me and Tom for the Faithful Review. Friday, the Coaches Huddle is back. Me and Grant are going to get things going. And I don't know. I know I got a live watch show party on Sunday, which you know is going to be fire. And guess what? The sound effects are back. So it's on. But I may do a call-in show. I haven't done one in a really long time. So, guys, get in the comments. Let me know if you'd rather me do a call-in show on Saturday or if you just want to wait until the live watch show party. Hey, signing off. This is the coach, Chunder Boy. Stay low and keep your feet moving.